We go through deals a lot with our team internally and one-on-one with our clients, but we rarely walk through deals publicly. Now, right now, Elevate does have an amazing listing that checks a lot of boxes, and so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to run through how we'd analyze specific properties and how to change up a property to make the returns look really amazing. So here I have Phil, Elevate's sales representative and the listing agent of this investment property that we're sharing today. I personally think it's an amazing location and it checks a lot of the boxes that I would need. But Phil, please feel free to walk through where this property is and its location.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. So, 654 St. Clarens is the property we're talking about today. And we're right at Lansdowne and DuPont area. So not only are we less than a 10-minute walk from a subway station, we're very close to the new Gallery on the Park development. It's kind of a master plan community. Think something like a city place that'll be building multiple condo towers over the next decade or so, I would imagine, with a lot of redevelopment of services for the area as well. Restaurants, community centers, shops, parks, all that stuff. So it's going to be a big boost for the area.
Yeah, it's definitely up and coming for sure. And as that area redevelops, I anticipate that the property values will just grow a lot quicker. I mean, I can't guarantee that, but I think prices should be growing at a faster pace compared to just average Toronto prices. The other thing that I think makes this property pretty great is just the financing options for this property. So, in Toronto, or actually in general in Canada, if you buy investment properties, typically you need to put a 20% down payment to make the purchase. But this property, it's probably going to be under $1 million. And when that happens, it can qualify for a CMHC insured mortgage. So you can put a lower down payment in there, which drastically reduces your capital requirements. So how the CMHC mortgage works is that the first $500,000 of the purchase, you can put down at as low as a 5% down payment, and the rest of it above $500,000, under $1 million, you can put down 10% if you're planning on living there. So if this property is a little bit under $1 million, all you need to put down is around 7.5% of the purchase price as a down payment. So the difference is actually pretty drastic. If you put a 20% down payment in, it's close to $190,000 of down payment. And then you need to add in closing costs and renovation costs. But with a 7.5% down, you're only putting $70,000. The actual capital required difference is $120,000 less. So it's definitely a lot more achievable if you decide to live in the house, if you have capital restrictions and you want it to go through a CMHC mortgage.
Absolutely. I think a big barrier to entry for a lot of people these days is going to be that capital requirement for the initial purchase. I mean, mortgage rates are what they are. Keep that aside, but typically people can shoulder the month-to-month cost, but can't get together that large lump sum. So being at under $1 million for those house hackers, those that are going to move in to the property and actually occupy, potentially convert to a couple other units. Not only can you get in for a lower upfront sum, but you've also got potentially a couple of other units that can help support the income there for you. So that's a big win on this one.
So the other thing that I really like about this property is that it is a big house. It's not like a huge lot by any means, but there is a big house with an extension on the property. And it's something that we typically like when we look for investment property opportunities. For example, we like 2.5 stories. We like the potential for garden suites and laneway suites. But obviously, if you do that, it costs a lot of money. So this one actually makes a lot of sense because that extension is already there. It's already done for you. All you have to do is improve the insides of it to make it max rents on the inside.
Absolutely, you're spot on there. This is actually, it's something I've been talking about with a lot of my clients lately. Funny enough, the young couples, the house hackers, those that are going to move in, and again, kind of limited initial capital. What the market would consider kind of I don't want to say a negative, but something that's going to be a value decrease, right? Is it on a main street? Does it have no parking? Is it on a smaller lot? All these types of things can really help bring the price down. But if you can find a property that ticks those boxes and the livable space isn't any different than the neighbor, you can often get yourself into a better neighborhood at kind of the same price if those things are things you're willing to compromise on. This property, for example, doesn't have any parking, but it's in an area that has a ton of street parking. And because of that, it's priced a little bit lower. You get a little bit further south, right, into a bit of a better neighborhood. It also is on a bit of a smaller lot, contributes to the no parking thing. So you don't have the yard size isn't that much different because there's no parking, but a smaller lot is another piece that's going to decrease the cost of the property. This one has one of my favorite things on potential investment properties, and that's like a small addition. Often when we're talking about 100-year-old Toronto homes, there's been multiple iterations of renovations and additions and things like that over the years. And this one does have a rear addition that kind of services as a rear entrance, but also provides an extra room on the top floor. These types of things aren't often priced in, and you're compared again with your direct neighbors. But now in this case, you have a value add on your property. And again, that just not only does it help give you more square footage, but when we're talking about rental properties and income potential, or house hackers who want a home office, for example, there's just more space that you can either live in yourself or, count as an extra bedroom, which is going to provide more income.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, this house is a semi and it's a single family home, but there are a lot of different value add opportunity options for the potential buyer. So why don't we walk through that part?
Yeah, for sure. So I think there's a couple of ways you can go with this. And it really depends on who you are and what you're looking for, right? Honestly, at the price point and the location, if you can deal with the parking thing as a standalone single family, it can be a great option. It can also be a great option with just some basement income. There is a separate entrance. The rough-ins are already there for the kitchens and bathroom in the basement.
Bonus.
It needs some reno work to convert it over to a livable space. But if you did want to rent it out just to keep the upper for yourself and just rent the basement, that could work out as a good a semi-house hack approach. Or alternatively, if you wanted to take it to the maximum income level, we have the 3-unit option that you can go with, right? We can split it up into a 1-bedroom basement apartment. The main floor already is well suited for a 1-bed apartment. Really, you just need to close up some walls. It has the kitchen, the bathroom, and everything already there. And like a lot of these Toronto semis, it's really easy to separate from the front foyer to kind of have 2 doors in the common entrance, 2 doors in the front foyer. One leads you into the main floor, and then the other one leads you right up the stairs. And because we have that addition right up the stairs, you have space there's already a bathroom, of course, what would have been 3 bedrooms in the original layout, but the addition provides an extra den bedroom space at the rear. So instead of having just a 1-bedroom apartment upstairs, you can get at the very minimum a 1 plus a den, or someone with a little bit of creativity might be able to squeeze a 2 into that space.
Yeah. So I mean, there's house hacking as an option. The other option that is pretty popular these days is multi-generational living. So a lot of families have both parents working, housing's way too expensive to buy on your own. But once you pool resources together, it can make things a lot more affordable and it can make a lot more sense. So in this area, like Phil talked about, it's in a great convenient location. And if you share a house with your family, like your siblings or your parents, then you can potentially own a share of the house for a lot less and get the extra help when you need to because they are close by. And still, you can still maintain privacy because you have your own separate unit. So, there's just a lot of options. It's not just for house hackers, but the separate units can have different purposes as well. All right. So we talked about how we're going to split this single family home into 3 units, but let's talk about cost. How much would something like this cost?
Yeah, I think for the savvy investor, ballparking 100 grand. I'll break that down a little bit. So I'm going to assume you're going for the 3-unit approach, right? Not much as far as the interior finish needs to be completely overhauled. Existing drywall, things like that can stay in place. Most of the flooring is pretty all right. More or less the entire main floor can be sectioned off and kept as it is. The basement apartment, flooring, wall, same thing, can be kept more or less as they are, but we need a new kitchen, we need a new bathroom, and we need some interior partition walls to kind of separate out. You should probably also do some fireproofing to the furnace room there, but the separate entrance is already in place. So really, we're just looking for kitchen and bathroom and a little bit of other work in the basement. Upper unit is going to be kind of the same as the basement. Interior walls are all right. Bathroom is there. It's already in the right place. It could use some love, so you could spend a little bit there to kind of do some updates. And a new kitchen should go in the rear. Again, rough-ins are in place for the lower bathroom as well as the 2 kitchens I mentioned, so that saves you some cost there. And there is some deferred maintenance on the exterior, I think, that should also be looked at. There's the rear addition does have some damage to the stucco originally, so I think it would be worth considering maybe doing some residing on that area, generally sealing up the deferred maintenance on the exterior of the property.
Based on a 20% down payment plus renovations of 100 grand plus closing costs, we're looking at around $320,000 plus in terms of capital. But if you were to house hack and live in it and get a CMHC loan where you put in the 7.5% down payment, then that capital requirement would come down quite drastically to closer to $200,000 just because you need a lower down payment there.
Absolutely. And that's a big help. And that big cash flow buffer, or at least the deferred rent that you're not paying, will really help towards that lower down payment. And I think you're also doing some value add to the property as well. So you might not be in that CMHC product forever.
So why don't we assume that this house would be entirely a rental? We're going to be splitting this house into 3 separate units, and we're going to optimize the rents. How would things look like?
Yeah, for sure. So if you go, full rental, you're not living in the property. And again, we've gone to 3 units. So upstairs, you're going to get $2,600 a month. On the main floor, you're going to get $2,300 a month. And in the basement, I think you're going to get about $1,800 a month. These rents are going to be all inclusive. Backing out your utilities, and we're going to use a mortgage payment, assuming a 20% down. Current rates are pretty aggressive at 6%. Hopefully not much higher these days. You're just over $1,000 a month cash flow positive. That is huge these days. And it's also amazing. Huge in a good neighborhood. I think that's an important takeaway.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like we're saying, it's at 6% interest rates. It might come back down a little bit afterwards. And if your borrowing rates are less, then that cash flow would get an extra bump as well. So you can see the difference. Right now, it is currently tenanted and rented out as a single family home. And once you deduct the expenses and the mortgage, the property does cash flow quite negative, close to $2,000 a month. But if you make these changes to the house, then you can potentially convert a highly negative cash flowing house to a very positive cash flowing house. We do have a website that has more information about this property. There's photos there. There's actually a financial calculator where you can play around with the numbers, try out different scenarios. Instead of having 3 units, have 2 units instead, and see how the cash flows might vary and change up the interest rates. And then some more insights on that website as well. So I'll have the link on the screen right here, and you can head over here to get more information about it.
The opportunities are there. It gives you a few different directions to go. So I think it could be a good fit for a few different kinds of investors, house hackers. It's so central. Again, it's not without its downsides, but I think those are well beyond compensated for where it is. And $1,000 cash flow potential these days. Again, no crystal ball, but the fact that we think the rates are very, very high these days, it leaves a very, very comfortable buffer for wherever the market may go. We're in kind of uncertain times, but I think even today, it's a very safe investment property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. If you want to learn more about this property, feel free to reach out to us on the website. You can contact us directly, and Phil will be there to get in touch with you to give you more information and also take you on tour of the property as well if you're interested. So thanks again, Phil, for joining me for this video. If you want to look at other opportunities, our real estate sales brokerage can definitely help you with that. We specialize in finding amazing investment opportunities in Toronto for our clients. And if you want to connect with us, let's chat. Just take the first step by heading to the link right over here to book a discovery call with us. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, we would appreciate your support. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date for more awesome content from us. Our channel is all about real estate investing in Toronto, covering everything from market trends, housing policies, to interest rates and best investing strategies. We're here to make your real estate investing journey easier for you. And so our team offers a complete range of services like planning, analysis, buying and selling, renovating, finding tenants, and even property management. If you want to learn more, just head over to our website or find us on social media. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.